What's up, guys? Today I'll be going over the Greater Ricochet ability. This is an ability that you can get from Raksha and is over 1 billion GE. If one ability costs that much, it must be good, right? Let's go over the regular Ricochet. It's a range ability with a 10-second cooldown that does up to 100% ability damage, and can hit up to 2 more targets. If you have the Corroming perk, you can hit additional targets, up to 4 more, for a maximum of 7 targets. You would really only use this when there's 2 or more targets, as it is a weak ability on your main target. Now when you upgrade this ability to Greater Ricochet, suddenly this ability turns into a game changer. Any Ricochet shot that did not hit a target will damage your main target for half the damage they would have done. When done on a single target, and with Corroming 4, this ability can do up to 400% ability damage, and you would hit your target 7 times. This is stronger than any basic ability, and can hit higher than some thresholds. This is a basic, it gives adrenaline, so it's even better than thresholds. As you can tell, this ability is amazing. When doing a range rotation, you might be using weaker abilities. You have Dazing Shot, Needle Strike, Corruption Shot, Snipe, and Frag Shot, which are all good, but sometimes these won't be enough, and you'll be using something like Tuska's Wrath or Sacrifice to fill in. With Greater Ricochet, you now have another strong basic with a short cooldown that would fill in the gaps. Here's a sample range rotation for building adrenaline. Greater Ricochet, then Corruption Shot, then Needle Strike, Snipe, Frag Shot, Needle Strike, Greater Ricochet. Since Ricochet has a 10-second cooldown, you can do 5 basics in between. Now for my gear in the dummy test. I am camping an Eldritch crossbow. The perks I have are Corroming 4, which is the most important, Aftershock 4, Equilibrium 2, and Precise 2. I also have full Elite Sirenic with Biting, Impatient, and Crackling. So, Greater Ricochet looks good and strong, but I'm just scratching the surface. Since this ability can hit your main target up to 7 times, it is useful against monsters with damage caps. One good example is Nex, who punishes your stronger hits. She takes reduced damage for hits over 5k damage and for hits over 2k damage in her final phase. If you use something like Shadow Tendrils on her, you might see that your tendrils are hitting low. But if you use Greater Ricochet, those 7 smaller hits will deal more total damage than one big hit. This concept of diminishing returns on damage also applies when using an Eldritch crossbow spec. This is why I have Corroming on my Eldritch. Its spec changes Soul Split to deal damage instead of healing you. Your target takes 4 times the damage you would have healed from Soul Split. Soul Split heals you 10% of the damage you deal and starts having diminishing returns for hits higher than 2k and even more diminishing returns higher than 4k damage. Each individual hit of Greater Ricochet is weak, and it's unlikely that any hit will reach the point of diminishing returns. As if that's not good enough already, each individual hit can trigger your ammo's special effect. This includes Blackstone arrows and enchanted Bacriminal bolts. With this, you can instantly apply 7 stacks of Blackstone arrows, which is much faster than before. For Bacriminal bolts, it is extremely likely to proc a bolt at least once, and is entirely possible to gain 70% adrenaline from Hydrax bolts. Or you can regain health from Onyx bolts that also deal increased damage. So in a nutshell, this ability is phenomenal. In 5 minutes, I was able to do over 1 million damage with Greater Ricochet unlocked. In a previous video, I was only able to do 838k damage with tier 92 range. This one ability is a huge upgrade for range, and is definitely worth getting. The amount of damage I was able to do is comparable to melee. In practice, I would be able to do more than what I can on a dummy if I use Bacriminal bolts and utilize Saren Godbow specs. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.